Welcome to the show. And I'm your host, Amanda Barr, and I'm so excited you're joining us today. I have an incredible shifter. Wow, we've got quite the show for you. I have David Hernandez. He's the founder of Body by Purpose and creator of the Elite Champion Fitness Academy, where he helps men and women discover their full potential, and not just in health and fitness, but in life by focusing on the mindset of success. Welcome to the show, David.
Thank you so much for having me, Amanda. It's such an honor. So great to be here. So thanks for this opportunity.
Absolutely. And I can't wait to dive in. Can you please take us down memory lane and share a little bit of who you are and how you got to this Body by Purpose?
Yeah, so it all kind of boils down to my childhood. I was raised in a very athletic type of environment, been playing sports since I was 8 years old. But the biggest turning point was a relationship that I had with my best friend. Growing up, we did everything together. He did struggle with obesity his whole life. And upon graduating and kind of going our separate ways after high school, a couple years after, I got the bad news at the age of 21 that he had died from
Mm,
obesity. He was
yeah.
so desperate in his situation to kind of find a solution to his problem that he went to get a gastric bypass surgery. 2 days later, got an infection and he died.
Man.
At that point, I mean, I was devastated. There was a moment where I felt guilty because I thought I could have helped him. I could have done a little bit more to kind of invest in him and help him change. But after a
Mm-hmm.
couple of years, I finally realized that there wasn't really much more I could have done. I talked to him about nutrition. I'd go with him to the gym. I'd play sports. I'd encourage him. But it all boiled down to his choice and his decision to want to truly change,
Mm,
right? To implement and take actions that were going to not only help him change his present life, but also establish a future that would ensure a healthy lifestyle. And so that's where I kind of got the real deep desire. And I didn't speak this out, but I made this internal kind of commitment to myself. And I said, as long as I know of somebody or I love somebody, I want to help avoid this situation again.
mm-hmm.
And that's where my deep dive into nutrition and fitness kind of really evolved. And
Wow.
that went into, I was on my own journey to my own fitness career and in the industry, the bodybuilding industry. But more
Mm-hmm.
importantly, I really started to identify with people because I realized that a lot of people that are suffering with obesity or being overweight are suffering in silence.
Yeah.
And that really captivated me. And I wanted in, right, so
Hmm.
to speak. I wanted more. I wanted to find out more about what their struggles were. And that's where Body by Purpose was born. And, several years down the road now, I have the benefit of and the honor and privilege to help men and women in their health and fitness journey.
Wow. I mean, definitely, I can't imagine what it's like to lose a friend, and especially someone that, just wanted to have a better life and
Yeah.
didn't know, sometimes you don't think about what is the impact. You're just thinking, oh, I'll just try it and get it done.
Mhm.
And so many times this battle, and I'm glad I have you on the show because there's so many people that deal with this every single day. And even myself, I lost weight in my 20s, and I'm passionate about people finding that. And, I looked on your site and you said we're having a war with our body. Can you talk about that? Like war with our body. It stuck out to me as like something so unique. There's so many fitness gurus out there, but I just thought that was really interesting. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely. And that's something that is not spoken about very much,
Hmm.
especially in today's culture where everybody wants a quick fix, a fast solution.
Right.
And we have to identify that if we don't understand what is truly going on with us, right, with our mindset, with our interperson, right, we're going to be at constant war with our body
Right.
because we're trying to satisfy a physical need and a physical desire, but we're doing it disassociatedly without knowing what is truly going on the inside. And when it comes down to weight loss, it's much more than simply losing weight. There is an internal fight because there's something that's disconnected with your body that is causing you to be in your current situation, in your current place, right? And a lot of that comes from, not knowing anything about proper habits when it comes to eating, when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to actually understanding what drives results to live a healthy and fit life, right?
Mm.
And a lot of that stems from your childhood, your upbringing, where you were raised. A lot of that might stem from traumas that you might have experienced, right? I've noticed that a lot of people struggle with truly living a healthy and fit life because there is a self-conscious issue. They don't understand their value. They don't know that they truly deserve to have a healthy and fit life. So that brings us into this constant war with our body, right? Without truly tapping into what is really the root cause, which is internal
Mm.
mindset. And it comes down to an identity shift.
Wow. Now
If
you
we
have,
can't cause
yeah,
an identity shift, we stay stuck, right? So
right.
that's a quick little summary
I
of
love
that
that.
piece.
I mean, I think if we look at any of the things we struggle, and I mean, I feel like I've had almost every struggle you could possibly have because I'll be helping people in so many different ways. But that's from, business, launching a business. And I'd love to hear your mindset on business too, because launching a business, you face a lot of fears. Dealing with our
Mhm.
body, we face a lot of internal things and what is happening, why this happening. Can I just do it? Why can't I just stay on this diet for like 1 week?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
and then you have two camps that are like, don't say diet because that can, just derail you. So how do
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
in your program, you have Body by Purpose and you have the Elite Academy. So are those two in the same? Are they two completely different? And how do you work with this behind the scene, like life work instead of just the fitness? Because people, I think, can focus on fitness, but it's really what's happening to make you want that, tell us a little more.
Yeah. So Body by Purpose is the company, right, where everything stems from. And the Elite Champion Fitness Academy is basically my academy that I use to train people and to educate them. I'm a firm believer, just like in anything, if we simply go for a quick fix solution, it's always going to be temporary. Just like in anything that we try, right? It's going to be short lived. But when we understand that we have to become independent with our health, what the
Mm.
heck does that mean? Meaning you have the tools and the understanding of knowing why you do what you do. Why are you eating the foods that you are eating? Why are you following a certain nutrition plan that you're following? What are you doing to stay active? And it goes far beyond just being in the gym, right? There is a big misconception of people say, I must be hours in the gym to get results. And that's the biggest lie. Because what I say, if what you're doing today in your health and fitness does not align with your lifestyle, you will eventually fail. So that comes down from the foods that you eat. If you're being told to eat foods that you do not enjoy, you're going to eventually give it up and you're going to not do it, right?
Right.
If you're being told to spend hours in the gym, but your lifestyle, because you're a business, you're an owner, an entrepreneur, or a busy mom, a busy father, you're going to do it for a little while, but you're eventually going to stop going, right? So, what I do is I take it a step further and I make sure that whatever we are doing, one, it aligns with your lifestyle, but two, we are focusing on you as the person, not as you as the body,
Mm.
you as the individual, and focusing on bringing elements that are going to change your identity from your mindset, from the way you view yourself, from the way you think of yourself, from the words you speak about yourself, to the actual practicalities of the action steps you take every single day. Small tasks, right? Every single day that compound that will then get you to achieve your weekly goals, which then compound to fulfill your monthly goals.
Yeah. I love that. We believe in the same methodology. Daily wins, weekly wins lead to
Right.
those monthly wins and keeping on track. So when it comes to, you're saying, working on yourself and having that and understanding yourself, do you see any people, are they dealing with the same thing, or is it really just all different, that people that are struggling with, wanting to lose weight. I mean, I know some of mine, but if I went back and said, do I remember the one thing that was like holding me back at the time that I lost 40 pounds? I think it was just I didn't believe I could do it. I didn't
Right.
believe that I actually could until
That's
I got
right.
inspired and said, you know what? I had high cholesterol and I was like, you better get yourself in health. And it actually wasn't the weight I was trying to get in health with. I was actually trying to get my cholesterol down. And when I
Mm,
switched from weight to cholesterol, I knew I could do it with cholesterol, which was a weird mindset shift. And I was
that's
able
right.
to drop the pounds. It took over a year. So do you see that happening? Are there similarities? Is there like one main thing that like, if I'm thinking this, I'm in that camp, I
Yeah.
have hope.
Yeah.
I can do this. What comes up that you see?
Look, there are several things, but it really comes down to what you said about not believing they can do this, right? And why? One, it could be because they don't understand that they actually deserve it, that they actually are valuable, right? They don't understand their own value as a human to actually believe that they deserve to have this life, or
Mhm.
that they deserve to have this body, or they deserve to be looking good, because maybe they've been told all their life, you're dumb, you're ignorant, you're ugly, you're never going to do this, right? The emotional side of the words that have been spoken onto us. And then there's the other side that says, I can't do it because they don't know how.
Mm.
There's so much information out there. And the problem isn't lack of information. I
Right.
think more than ever, we have the most information we've ever had at our fingertips, accessible to us. The problem is knowing what information works for me, what information is going to give me results based on what I need, right? Not what Martha needs, not what Joe needs, not what anybody else needs, but what I need specifically for me. And that is the individuality part of what I do, is that even if maybe you have high blood pressure, or let's say Martha has high blood pressure, your processes can be completely different. Why?
Mm.
Because you're different human beings. You're different people. You live differently. Your culture's differently. Your environment is differently, right? So identifying that this is a personal process and we must look at it as that. What do I need to do? And when you can be supplied that and it's simplified for you, in a sense that you understand exactly what you need to do practically, then it makes the process so much easier for you to say, I can do this. Not only can I do it, but I am doing it. Right. And that's where the success starts to come into play. But a lot of it is
Yeah.
limiting beliefs, right? And the emotion side of it that tears people down because of their self worth or the way they view themselves.
How long do you think it takes for somebody to get through that first portion? You can go to the gym, but when you don't see results and it's a week, people I think want to think that if I go to this and I get the program, I'm just going to look
Yeah,
amazing after like 2 weeks. And if not that month, this is just not going to work.
that's right.
But
That's
how
right.
long does it take to get through that you've seen just working with your clients to get through that first part of the limiting beliefs and still being committed to accomplishing that goal and really those daily wins, weekly stuff? How long does it take to switch it? They go, okay, you know what, I can do this.
Yeah, yeah. Look, that's a there there isn't a specific time. And why do I say that? Is because it really all depends on the perspective of the individual and what they're really chasing after.
Mm.
If what they're chasing after is simply to see that scale go down and simply lose weight and simply say, I can now fit into these jeans, when a challenge arises, most times those people quit. Why? Because they don't necessarily see a specific result based on a number, right? So our perspective is so important as to understanding, why am I doing this, right? For you, there was a there was a need, right? There was a
Mm.
You understood if this didn't change, there was going to be this consequence. So there was a actual need, necessity that had to occur for you to deep dive and actually chase after this. It really comes down to a person's place of where they're at, if they're really ready for the change, or are they simply saying, I want the change, right? Are they really available for what this journey and this process is going to entail? Or are they simply saying, I'm doing it for X reason? What are we truly doing it for? But on my experience, it can take anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks sometimes,
Yeah.
right? And it really depends on the personality. And it comes back to the why.
Mm,
Why are they doing this? And if you're simply doing it to please others or for a specific result, it's not going to necessarily get you there, or it might take a little bit longer. But when we forget about the result of actually losing and we embrace the process and we know that I'm doing this to become better myself, to become a
mhm.
better person, to become a better human, to become a better mom, a better father, a better individual, then we lose the pressure of I have to drop weight, right? And now it
Yeah.
becomes part of your life and for yourself.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, it sounds I know if anybody's watching this, they're like, well, that sounds really great. So what would you say to somebody that says, David, that's awesome. I am here and I hear what you're saying. I understand in theory, but how do they know when they're ready to actually commit to this and say, you know what, now is the time? I knew for myself I had to draw the line. I knew it. It was at that moment. But there's a lot of us, like you're saying, that we want to, but we're not committing to it. So
Right.
how can somebody gauge when they look at your program or they're thinking about it? How can they gauge, or is it just a leap of faith and you say take the leap? If you want it, you have a desire, take the leap now, go for it. Or is there a certain crossover that they have to say, no, we're committed because I want to work with people that are committed to an actual goal?
Look, I think when you are truly tired and sick and tired of being in the place where you're tired of being tired of looking the way you are or being the way you are. I think that's when something shifts, right? And when you truly identify, why do you want this? Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to look better, right? Are you simply doing it to please somebody else? Or are you doing this for yourself? Are you doing this because you want to invest in yourself? You want to have truly a different life, right? So I believe that sometimes people wait too long.
Mm,
They wait too long to actually take action. They speak it, they think it, but they delay in the action step, right? And so for the audience that's hearing and you're saying, I'm tired of this, I don't like the way I look, I don't like being in this place, I don't like to feel this guilt and this shame. It's about taking action. Yeah, David, but I've tried a lot of things and they failed. Yes, I understand that part. But let me ask you, when you were a baby and you fell every single time you tried to walk, did you just say, oh, I tried it, it doesn't work, I'm going to quit?
yeah.
There was that consistent persistence of going after it. Why? Because that baby wanted to walk and he was determined to walk, right? I think we lose that fight as we continue to go through so many hardships and so many adversity and so many difficulties. But that's where I challenge you. How bad do you really want it?
Mm,
How much do you want to experience a new life? How big is your why? When we can identify what that is, man, it's like there's a giant inside of you that will come out and say, I'm
yeah.
going to do this. And nothing or no one is going to stop me. And you just have to take the leap.
I love that. It's so inspiring. I mean, you think about we all have so much inside of us, and it's that belief, it's taking the actions, and it's just doing. I always tell people if they're scared, I go, it is a lot less scary after you go through
Sure.
it. You just
That's
got to
right.
go through it. You don't know that, but once you get through it, then you're like, oh, well, that wasn't that bad. I should have done that, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I should have just taken that step. So, I mean, definitely people, if you're listening, just take the step. do the jump,
Yes,
take the leap, and believe in yourself. And I want to talk about some shifts. So this show's all about the shifts we make in life and business. So I too bring in life because sometimes life happens and
that's
we
right.
sometimes change the course of what we're doing because we saw a problem, we wanted to help people. So talk to me about the entrepreneurial journey for you, because you're also an entrepreneur, you're a business owner,
Right.
you're helping people with their fitness and their health and their life and really transforming beliefs. But how's this journey been for you as an entrepreneur?
Look, COVID changed everything for us, right? As personal trainers, as business owners in the fitness industry, there was a specific model that we always followed, right? I had private clients, I did everything very privately, and I would come to people. But when that changed and that turned around, I could no longer do that. So, what do we have to do? It's about being able to be flexible, just like how I encourage my clients, you must be flexible in this process and you have to be like clay, right? It's never going to always be downhill on that scale. It's going to go up and down. There's going to be fluctuations. We must be able to be flexible. If we're rigid, we're going to break and we're going to lose. So as an entrepreneur, just developing new skills and being open to change and being flexible and embracing this whole process of business, right? And allowing new things and new things to even be birthed within me, right? To just explore things and see what happens and see what new skills can be developed has, I think for me as an entrepreneur, been in a amazing journey. At the same time, there was some fears, right? There was some doubts in there at the same time as you're going through it, but embracing it as an entrepreneur is what's helped me to be able to just develop new skills and just grow, to be able to help more, because now I'm helping more people. Not only is the business thriving, but I have the ability to reach out and help more people across the globe, which is absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I know there when you tap into that, I think that we've had a few people on the show that have said the same. It's like if we are shifting, if we stay the same, nothing will happen because
Right.
you can get swept up in waiting for things to go or to move. But if you are
Yeah.
taking action, you're flexible and you're moving. So many people had so much success during this COVID time because, like you're saying, they were able to reach more people. They were able to do
Yeah.
things more efficiently. They didn't drive all over town,
That's
from
right.
meeting to meeting to meeting and lose half the day just in the car. So
That's
this
right.
has really opened up a whole new world for businesses. So thank you for sharing that. Did you have, I want to know, did you have any mentors or anybody when you were launching your business? Did you go through a program? Did you just learn from somebody else? Did you kind of follow somebody's path? How did you know how to do this? Because you said fitness was everybody did it the same way.
That's right. That's right.
So I'd be interested in how you started your journey.
Yeah, out of necessity, right? It was either I change it or I'm going to lose everything and
Yeah.
starve, right? I'm exaggerating, but I did. I went out and I researched, and I think I took on a little bit of everything, right? My own research on things and looking at what others are doing. And there was a lot of taking strategies and things that I saw others doing and how can I implement that? But it all came down to hiring a coach myself,
Mm,
right? Because I believe that in anything that you want to thrive in, we all need a mentor. We all need a coach, right? We need
yeah.
that accountability. Even as myself, I have my own personal trainer that keeps me on check. Even though I'm a trainer, want to make sure somebody is pushing me to my absolute best, right? And is allowing the best to come out of me. And then I also, invest in the business coach to help me structure. If I don't know what I'm doing, I can either waste time trying to figure it out, or I can go to somebody that's already achieved it to save time so that I can become more effective and more efficient. And that's what I did. I hired a business coach. I hired somebody to help me put my courses together, help me understand this whole new world of the online business that's been there for years, but I just never tapped into it because it wasn't needed. Right. So definitely, I have mentors and have people that guide me in this whole process.
That's awesome. It's awesome. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, I get the pleasure of working with entrepreneurs, and it's like don't try to go this your own, because you
Right.
will. I have taken so
Yeah.
much time, and I can shrink so much time for people
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
of sheer, they're like, have you tried this? I'm like, well, I've tried that and about five other things, and this is what worked best. And it is a unique experience, and finding somebody you can really gel with, that sees your passion and
Mm,
your mission and really wants to get behind you. And I think that belief, one thing that I think that you and I are probably cheerleaders on and didn't know it, was that believing in somebody. Like,
yeah.
from what I hear is you believe in your clients, you believe they can do
Absolutely.
anything,
Yes.
right? And I believe
Yes.
the same. It's like, you've got this idea and everybody's telling you, no, that's crazy. Well, let's find a way to make it work. Like,
That's
let's
right.
let's
That's
pull
right.
that out of you. um
That's
so
right.
so when it comes to the mentors, I'd love to know if you had anybody share something, even if it was just like a statement, or if you have like a power statement. There's so many people that have these morning routines, evening routines. They read this, saying, and they've got their affirmations. What is something that you've either heard, or you say, or you implement yourself, that just kind of gets you in that, like, all right, we can do anything mood that day?
Well, it all comes down to my faith, and I think we all have our own beliefs and what we're believing in. And one of those is, in my belief, is that there's nothing impossible if you believe it, right? If you truly believe you can achieve it, there's really nothing impossible. And I, I struggled with this growing up because I was always about what others said about me, until I learned we can't control what others say, but we can control what we choose to believe of what they are saying, right? And so I carried that statement with me, because now it's like, if I believe that there are truly no impossibles, well, maybe I might not necessarily get there right away, but I know I can get close to achieving whatever I'm chasing after. So that's something that I really stick to. There's nothing impossible if you can believe. And I just wake up saying that, and I continue to say it daily, and I go after whatever I'm dreaming, right? And making sure these dreams are big, and going after them each day to one day get there.
It's awesome. It's awesome. I think that when we wake up in that mode, we can make our day hard, or we can make it really incredible. And
That's
I
right.
think that's just a test to it. If you're diving into anything as possible, wow, you've got a rocking day, a rocking week ahead of you. I would
That's
love to
right.
know, when you looked at your business, and you have a very purposeful business, body by purpose, it is just in the name. But
Right.
what do you wish everybody actually knew? You go deep, and you don't hear this very often, where people actually pull in these real stories of what gets them started. It's usually, well, I'm a coach, I'm this, I'm that, and there's no real heart. But you've got all heart. But if you were to
Yeah.
say, I wish people just knew this little thing about my business, that if they knew this, it would transform their life, we could do some amazing work together, and we just know that a lot of things are possible.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, there is a hidden potential that most people don't tap into. And that potential is to achieve your purpose. And I believe each one of us truly has a purpose to achieve. And that could be a purpose for your home, a purpose for your business, a purpose in your children's lives. But overall, I believe we all have a purpose for this world. We were all created with a specific purpose. Nobody was created by accident. You're not here by accident. And there is a potential inside of you that we need to discover. And it's about discovering, it's about embracing the process of discovering your true potential. And I believe that as we get in deeper, and a lot of times we go into these scary parts that we don't want to look into, right? Because maybe we've heard you're not going to make it. It's been challenging. Maybe you failed. Maybe you've had difficulties in life. That has kind of pushed down on what your true potential might be for yourself. But when we go in deeper and we really keep fighting inside, internally, and go even deeper, you will discover that you were created for more, that you can do more, and that there's a greater potential inside of you that will help you achieve your purpose.
Wow. Do you have in your program, are you taking people through, because I know it's Body by Purpose, are you taking them through that process of finding that purpose? If they're like, well, I know I'm here for something. I know I'm here to do something great, but I really just, if you were to ask me, maybe it's my job. I got this job and I've heard people tie their purpose into their job, which if you
Yeah.
don't have that job, then you feel like you don't have a purpose, but it's bigger than that. It's your full potential. So do you work with
Right.
people on that purpose inside of this process?
Absolutely. And that's part of the identity work that we do, right?
Mm.
And it's really about one of the only areas I believe that actually taps into everything of our life is health and fitness. Because if you're not healthy, you can't do things. If your body's not strong, you're going to be weak. You can't physically achieve things, right? So when we start to work on the principles of what really makes us as humans and what gets us to thrive and what gets us to be able to be most effective in that process of discovery is how we start to identify our true identity. I believe as humans, we spend so much of our life not knowing who the heck we are because it's all about what others say about us, what others think about us, what the world says about us, how the world views us. No, no, no. It's about who we truly are. And when we can identify who we are as a people, as a person, that takes our possibilities so much more, but it truly helps us identify what our real purpose is inside so that we can chase after it and not have to waste time doing things that we don't necessarily should be doing, right?
Right. Well, I want to ask in that process, because I too have been, I feel like my purpose when I was younger was just to have a purpose. I was
Yeah.
like, I just want to
Yes.
do something. I just wanted to have an impact. But if somebody said, well,
Yeah.
what was that impact? I had to go, just to have an impact. Like it wasn't very clear in my 20s.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
didn't like what I was doing. And I was like, there's got to be more. So
Yeah.
when people you're working with say, okay, I think I've got my purpose, right? And they declare something. And then a week later, like, I'm really not sure if that's my purpose
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you commit to something. So what do you share with them when they're kind of doing that roller coaster of like, I think I know. And then, oh my God, I don't know if that's the right thing. what's
Yeah.
your what's your suggestion or your what do you share with them?
It's really about exploring. You won't know until you do, right? And you chase after it. What's the worst that can happen? You figure out you don't like it. Okay, cool. Now you've identified one thing that you really don't enjoy, then you really don't like. And it turns out maybe it's really not your purpose, right? But I believe it's in the doing, in taking action, in going after it, in trying new things and not being afraid of like, oh, what if it doesn't go right? What if I fail? Great. You now identified one thing you should not be wasting your time doing, right? Or one thing doesn't work out for you. So we start to identify who we are as people. We start to learn more about ourselves. I think this fear of failure has gotten so wrongfully identified and so got a bad rep that people are afraid of failure. It's the best thing
Mhm.
that can happen to us. Failing, why? Because then it shows our weaknesses. It shows things that we need to improve in, right? It gives us a stat, so to speak, and it helps us become better. So it's really about our perspective, our mindset on how we're looking at these things with that growth mindset of knowing that if I failed, great. Now that gives me more insight of what I need to explore and what I need to keep growing in. So
Yeah.
I truly believe we're never going to really know what our full purpose is because I think we're in constant pursuit of that purpose. And
Mm.
I think that maybe one day when we're old, we could say, I'm happy and satisfied with everything that I did. But until that day comes, keep going, keep chasing after it, and keep figuring out what that full purpose really is.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to add in too. I was watching this webinar because I'm always looking to learn and want to grow, and it was all about business. And she was like, "Run after 1,000 no's. I don't want you to run
Yeah,
after any yeses. I want you to get 1,000 no's and see what happens." And I
that's
was
right.
like, there's so much around no and failure. So I'm gonna second that. Run after the no's. Run after those things that you think are scary and fail, and It's okay. You're going to
That's
pick
right.
up, and I think all of us have failed at numerous times at different things, or it could have
Yeah.
been better. Like that could have gone better, you know?
Yeah.
Um,
Great. Now there's insight. Now let's go after and make it better. Right.
right. I know. I know. Well, I'd
And
love
and
to.
and I just want to
Yeah.
add this last piece.
Yeah.
When you fail at something, it doesn't make you a failure.
Oh,
It's a big difference.
big difference.
I believe most people, when they fail, they identify themselves as the failure.
Mm.
No, it doesn't make you a failure. It actually makes you victorious because you actually attempted, you went after it, right? Failing in something just means you need to work on something to become better and to grow. So,
Mm.
last little bit of piece.
Nice, nice, nice distinction. I mean, I think that even for myself, I think that just touches me, because I think sometimes, yeah, it's like, oh, you start something and you quit it. Like there's been so many little things. I'm like, oh, I want to do that. And then you start and then you stop. And then you're like, no, I'm coming back to it. I start and stop.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so it doesn't mean that I failed. It just means I chose. I
That's right.
chose to stop. And
And
that's
that's
all.
okay. And that's all.
Yeah.
That's it. You
Awesome.
explored something new. You learned
Right.
something new. Didn't work out. We move on.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Great distinction. I mean, you're up to so much great work. I'd love to give you just 30 seconds, a minute, just share all the great things and ways that people can get a hold of you. How can they get involved? How can they follow you? How can they get into your program? What does it look like? Tell them anything we can know.
Absolutely. I'd love to. Thank you so much for that. So, our website, bodybypurpose.com, www.bodybypurpose.com. You can get all the information there of the programs that we work and what we do as a company. You can also follow me on all the social platforms at Dave K. Hernandez, DaveKhernandez. All social platforms, you can find me on there: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, everywhere you can find me there. And you can always reach out right off of those DMs. Send me a DM. You have more questions about what it is that we do or how you can tap in. I will be launching in the next couple of weeks a new program. Specifically, it's going to be a personal group type of programming where we're going to deep dive on a lot of things. There's going to be some boot camps involved in there. There's going to be some intense stuff going on in there in a good way, right? Not to
Yeah.
fear or not to bring any wrongdoing in that, but it's really about getting that personal element. I love the personal bonding with people, to really have that personal connection, because I think as we connect with each other, we can learn from each other and we can grow from each other.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, it's been incredible. And I'd love to squeeze one more thing out of you. It's all shifting to keep on the move. David, what keeps you moving?
Helping people, knowing that there are lives to change and that there's purpose and potential in people that need to be explored and have to come out to the world. That's what keeps me driving. I love helping
Amazing.
people.
Amazing. Well, I told you it was going to be an incredible show and an incredible shifter. David is up to so much good for people, not only helping people in fitness and health, but also their life, finding that mindset of success, tapping into the full potential, and knowing that you are possible to do anything you want. Believe in yourself and get connected to David's
Yes.
program. Sounds like your new program
Great.
is going to be incredible. Hopefully we can get some more people sending your way and good things can happen. And for all those listening today, thanks for joining us, and keep on the move.